What? How y'all doing? How weird. Doing something today I didn't think I was going to be doing for a while. Just because at 0 o'clock in the morning I got a random message. So nothing interesting, realistically, for anyone. But fun for me. 0 o'clock this morning, phone vibrates. Get a message from one of my mates. Dude, they're shutting down one of the servers that we used to host all of our stuff. The one that I've got some of your stuff on. Sorry, we're gonna have to move everything because they're just out of the blue. They're shutting up shop. Well, that's not that big of a deal because my website. So one of my mates was hosting my website because I was borrowing storage space off of them, even though they had storage space, quite a bit of storage space. I didn't want to take the mick by making a big website, so I made my website really like tiny, like 1990s kind of website, like just pure HTML, no fat kind of thing, because I was getting the space for free. I was like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, it doesn't matter anyway, because the main site has been gone for the .com has been gone since like the beginning of the year or whatever, since I started the Gemini capsule, really. And so, all I really need, if at all possible, is just a copy of a couple of the files, so that if I fancy putting it back up, I can put it back up. And we didn't have FTP up at the time, and so I got a message a little bit later with a couple of the files, and it came in at about 150 kilobytes or something to that effect. And so we started we just spent part of the day chatting about servers, Tinterweb, and all that kind of thing. And in the background, when I was supposed to have been getting other stuff done, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna have a look into the website and the Gemini capsule, and look into pulling files off of a little server thing that I have set up. But it's interesting because my mate was talking about pulling stuff off of his server and how he doesn't have FTP set up. He's got another something set up where he can pull files down off of it. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't use the same method as him on mine because my server is literally Billy Bob Basic raw, absolutely nothing on it. Like, nothing on it. If you were to hack that server, you would get absolutely nothing off of it. I think it's got a grand total of 2 users on it. One of them is empty. It's just used to update the server. I've got a funny feeling, actually, I might have screwed the pooch with that one today. So if I reboot the server, it'll probably not come back up. I wasn't paying attention when I was doing bits and bobs to it, and I think I might have accidentally done something that I probably shouldn't have done. So, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And then yes, I use one to just update and install bits and bobs, and then I have kind of this other user with absolutely zero privileges on it that just that's what runs things. So the Gemini capsules server, which I think is Agate, and the website server, which is, I don't remember what it is, but begins with N. And there's nothing, like, file wise, there's some certs, and then there's the Gemini capsule and the main website. The website comes in at about 100 kilobytes. The Gemini capsule comes in at about 50 kilobytes, and then some certs. So you're talking about, because I've trimmed the fat on the actual website. About 100 kilobytes of that was an extra image that I was using for the splash page. I have a landing page on my site, which really, it just dates it straight away that it's so old school. It's just like a JPEG black background with a click the image to go into the. I don't do anything fancy when it comes to, because I want everything to be low bandwidth. I want people to be able to use it on low end machines with low bandwidth. I don't want fancy or flashy or anything. I want it to be content rich. I want you to be able to go to the site and spend a couple of minutes like reading, looking at a few pictures, and job done. But yeah, there's literally nothing on my server. There's no extra programs on it or applications on it at all. Like none. Imagine Raspberry Pi and like getting the Raspbian. Is it Raspbian? Do they still call it Raspbian or Raspberry Pi OS or whatever they call it? The light version of that, which basically means it has like no apps on it. Or Ubuntu server light, that's where it's literally you've got the bare minimum to get the hardware to boot. You get a login prompt, and then that's it. Everything else is on you. You have to configure it. It's got no extra like pre-configured packages or anything, so you can get somewhere. It's like, oh hey, we've already kind of got the basis of an email server set up. We've already got the basis of a web server set up. We've already got like SSH and FTP and all that kind of, and all you have to do is kind of add usernames to the groups that go with these things and run this, and that we can configure. None of that on my server. Absolutely none of it. Just you log in and that was it. So you know, it's I didn't have anything in place to realistically pull down any of the files, and I was like, you know what, I was actually doing the Gemini site directly on the server, the Gemini site being in like Markdown, so I was just literally running like, you know, nano whatever the page was going to be called, type, save, and the only copy was on the server because I was working on it on the server. So I was like, well, let's now that I've got the HTML site back, I'm going to trim the fat because a lot of the stuff isn't necessary anymore. I was talking about the challenges and that I was doing in 2019 and 2020 to raise a bit of cash. We won those because otherwise I was going to cut myself off the internet cold turkey. But not long after winning, chaos ensued, and like I won the bet, chaos ensued, and I basically disappeared for like, what, 3 months anyway, 3 to 6 months anyway. So, you know, no biggie, but hey, I'm here now. So I cut all of that fat out, making the site even smaller. In fact, actually, the site now comes in at, well, it says that can't be right. It says 180, but no, because 100 of that is another thing. The main website comes in at, oh wow, really? 10 items at 25 kilobytes. Wow. Okay, so there's only a few pages there. The Gemini thing actually has more stuff on it and comes in at 52.5 kilobytes, although I'm sure I could shrink that down. Actually, let me just check to see, where is that? I bet it's in the gallery, isn't it? It's the gallery that's taking up most of that space. Yeah, 37 kilobytes for the ASCII pictures I was putting up on the Gemini site. Yeah, one of the pages is coming at like 20k, and that's just look at an entire page of just characters that make up this image of a guitar that I'd done. Anyway, you know, trimmed all the fat. I was like, right, I'm gonna now try and find a way without installing extra fat on the server to pull files off. So I've been dicking around in the terminal rather than like looking for applications and things, because my mate recommended WinSCP, I think. But I'm not on Windows, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. And SCP is the secure copy protocol. And so I was just like, well, I can do that in the terminal. So that's what I did. No GUI or anything. It was just like, right, we'll figure out where the files are that I want, and then I would SCP to the server and say copy this directory and every file going. Where is that? Going into the. It's not recursive, is it? But basically, copy every file from the directory I say up until. Keep going forwards until it ends, and then bring them down. Yeah, basically pulled down the Gemini pages, and now I actually, yay, I have a copy of the Gemini stuff and the HTML stuff on my main machine. I'm probably just going to put them on like a pen drive. You know, I was feeling really like sucky. I was like, you know what? I should get a floppy disk I should get a floppy disk so that I can put this site on disk. We've got a USB floppy drive somewhere. Get one of them, floppy disk. Hey, look, here's my website. It's on the save icon. It's on a 3D printed save icon. But oh, that was fun. So, you know, I've been dicking around in the thing, and I was like, well, how do I put it back up? And so I was like, well, I can SCP that as well. And I was like, oh mate, is there a way that I can do this, but only copy up new files or files that have changed? Now I'm sure there's a way that I can do that with SCP, but I don't know the commands to get it to just do stuff. So I ended up like uploading, instead of it going, well, these files are no longer there, get rid of those. I now have the original website, and then so I removed a bunch of files. Those are now still on the server because they haven't been told to be removed. And then new files have gone up in place of something. And it's a bit messy, but when I can be bothered, I'll go back in and I'll start cleaning that up. But then it got me looking into rsync, which I know quite a lot of people use to synchronize files and directories between different computers. Is something that I've never realistically used before, but it's something that I'm now looking into, because then I was like, well, hang on a minute, I could get rsync set up and then script it. So like I could write a script for each site, or for the Gemini capsule and for the HTML site. So I'd have a script for each, and then have it so that when I update each one, I can just run the script, and rsync will synchronize the directories that are on the local machine and the server. And so then let's say, like, I delete a file from the local machine, well then I could get it so that like that goes away off the website, kind of thing, off the main web server. It just goes, sync this file isn't here, get rid of it. Hey, there's like 3 new files here, put those up, and do it that way. Same with the Gemini capsule, get it to just push all of the new stuff, remove all the stuff that isn't necessary, and then perhaps even write another script so that it will run a script to run the 2 individual scripts, so that if I do both at the same time, that does a thing. Or perhaps even write a script to turn the Gemini site into an HTML site, because at the moment I'm hand coding. Well, I mean, if you look at my website, it's trash anyway. I'm hand coding everything anyway. My HTML site is as close to Markdown simplicity as possible, but you know, just get it so that anything that I do on the Gemini, because the Gemini has got the most stuff on it. It's still a mess, but it's got the most content on it. Get it so that anything I do in Gemini gets turned into an HTML page, and then I can put that onto the main site too, so that you can get the content from both places. Yeah, I just think that would be cool to then have a script that I can run to get that to be a thing, and then potentially in the background run stuff like, if I do want to kind of load up the server with a bit of bloat, put a TeamSpeak server on there, because I've got one running locally for me and the kids to play around on. Because when they're on their machines, they usually talk using the Microsoft, the Xbox chat thing that's built into Windows. I can't do that when I'm on Linux, and they can't use Discord because they're not old enough. So TeamSpeak's the option. I'm thinking, well, maybe I could kind of set up a TeamSpeak server on one of the main servers, and then we could all get together and just chat in TeamSpeak, because TeamSpeak's actually kind of neat because it's using Opus, that OGG format that you convert your audiobooks and your music into, and for the bitrate, it's fantastic quality. But that's another video. Where was I? Yeah, getting everything to be in sync, and then once all that's done, maybe put on some extras, maybe run a Quake 3 server on there, because I think that'd be kind of neat, just like in the background, have it so that people can connect to Skazis.com, play some Quake, connect to Skazis.com, go to the TeamSpeak server, and just little bits like that. I'd like to run an IRC server on there, but I I am ballsed up enough to like, I am enough to keep it secure. So I'm not going to. In fairness, I don't really have the brain capacity at the moment to keep a regular web server stable and secure, but this is all fun and games for me. So that's been my groove today. Just kind of keeping my super low end mega resource, fucking like sipping on the old resources site going. I mean, hang on, let me show you. This is my HTML site. It looks like something out of the 90s. And there used to be way more. Oh wow, that's got to be changed right there. Mixer doesn't even exist anymore, but and the daily vlogs don't exist anymore either. They haven't existed for what, nearly a year. But yeah, just it's just literally a little, you know, it's a page with stuff on it, and it's all horribly formatted and that, and that's my site. Isn't it great? Like I say, I like to keep things clean. I like this kind of stuff to just. I don't think a website needs to be overly complicated. I miss the idea, or I miss back in the day where you'd go to a web page and there'd be just buckets and buckets and buckets of text with a few images on it, so that the author of the page can get their passion across for a project, and then you can follow along and go, oh, I could do that too. Now there's videos and images and script everywhere, and it's just, oh god, just no, it's not, shouldn't be a thing. Good times. Yeah, I just been having fun dicking around with that, and just playing around with servers and cutting the fat and doing everything in the terminal, and it's been a fun old time. Keep it simple. And yeah, just going around in circles again, mate. So I remember those times. I want to have another rant about, because I've said before about how I grew up in a time when you had to do a lot of stuff manually. You actually used to have to learn how a lot of stuff worked, whereas now you have a lot of tools that just baby you through projects. Like you can just one click color correct, one click for audio recording, so like there'll be automatic gain control and all this kind of stuff. Like we never had any of that stuff back in the day, so you had to learn mic presence and all that kind of stuff. I miss that. I miss the raw days. I'm not a huge fan of everything just kind of being handed to people. I got into a discussion with folks about it today, saying like how easy so many people have it when they now buy pieces of equipment that literally do just everything for you. Whatever happened to the simple days where everything was like just rich in content and actually took a bit of skill to make, and it wasn't all just style over substance. And now I'm going around in circles again, but I'm going to have another little rant probably in the next couple of days about just why are we making things overly complicated? Why can't a microphone just be a microphone? Why can't a camera just be a camera? You know, it just boggles the mind now that we have to do everything mashed up. But relaunching Skazis.com. SK4ZZI0US.com in raw ass HTML, as small as possible, so that some little kid on a 56k modem somewhere in the universe can access the site. You know what? I'm actually tempted to embed like a Geek Shed IRC thing on there, like just an embedded IRC client. That used to be a fun little thing to do back in the day. I used to have one on Skazis.com years and years and years ago, so that it would have like, this is the server, so like I said, like Geek Shed or Freenode or whatever, and then it would have like hashtag and then whatever the chat room would be, and people could literally just sign in from the website and just chat in the IRC chat. I'm tempted to kind of put one up on there. That'd be kind of fun. Kind of give people I just imagine people coming along with a low end connection and still being able to get everything that they want. You know, when my internet went down for a couple of days, I used gigs and gigs and gigs just to use the basic internet. And it's horrible. It's so fat and bloaty, and just even a fast connection feels slow. I mean, this stuff takes no time at all to load up, so do it. Make a basic site. Learn stuff. I've missed out on that point, but I'm going. Gonna just I'm actually gonna go to bed because I haven't slept. So hope you're well, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one. Relaunch. Woo! Welcome back to the 90s. And it's not that I can't do something more flashy. I just don't want to. Lame. And anyone that does do the full fat websites we have now, you are becoming you're part of the problem. Stop it. Stop it. Stop encouraging these people. Ugh.